We are now also joined by race-winning driver Connor Zilisch. Connor, walk us through the race from your perspective tonight.
Yeah, it was a tough race for us at first. We started 15th. We had some work to do, and we were able to crawl our way towards the front and get up to second there before that last caution. And obviously we stayed out and stayed out on old tires with 25 laps to go, and we're able to hold off the 19 and the 88 on fresher tires to get the win today. So yeah, really grateful for the opportunity from JRM to come and do these races, and Roto-Rooter for being a part of it.
Good deal. We're going to go back to questions. We'll go to Jordan and then to Zach.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Connor, the Cup side of things, you're a rookie. You're going through it right now, right? To get this win, does that help your confidence? Does it just kind of restore your belief a little bit? What's that do?
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. I was thinking earlier today, I was like, man, I came down to race the O'Reilly race to get some confidence, and I just qualified 15th. And I'm like, man, I can't catch a break. And, it's not easy when you go from winning everything, on the way up and you get to the Cup Series and you got to get used to running 20th, 30th and having bad days every single week. And it's taken a toll on me, and I've definitely had to learn how to get used to it. So it's always good when you can come down and do this and remind yourself that, you still got it. I'm still the same me that I was last year, and, I haven't completely lost it yet.
Rodney, you're free to go. You head out to the garage for tech. We're going to go down to Zach and then to Doug.
Zach Atan's ready, kickingthetires.net. Brent said outside the car you guys are the best of friends, but inside you're the world's biggest rivals. He really wanted to beat you. What was that race like with him and Larson up there? And can you really describe what your relationship is with him, coming into you guys racing together now?
Yeah, I've been racing against Brent since we were I was 7 years old, 8 years old, and he's beaten me a lot, from go-karts to when we first started racing cars together, and I've beaten him a lot too. So it's cool to be able to race against him at this level. We've only done it a few times, and honestly, he was one little bobble running the top up there from winning the race, and it doesn't take much to lose these things, and he's got a lot of wins coming in his future. So I'm excited to watch him continue to grow and get better. But yeah, we are really good friends off the track, but since we were little kids, we've always wanted to beat each other so bad. So it's cool to be able to do that at this level and, race against him and Kyle for the win there. It's never fun when you see Kyle Larson in your mirror with 5 to go and he's got fresher tires than you, but, we're able to hold him off and make it work for the situations we were dealt.
Go to Doug and then to Davey.
Thank you, Connor. Doug Turnbull from PRN and the 5 to Go podcast. Dare I ask, because you've run the Cup car and have gotten a lot of reps in it this season, and we see the Xfinity car widen out the groove and they're able to make the top run up high. So many people talk about their different ideas of what they could do to make the Cup cars widen out more. I mean, I know you're not a veteran in Cup, but I mean, because you've run them back to back and kind of can A/B it, what would you think would help the cars be able to widen out a little bit?
I'm not too sure. Some of it is, for some reason, the Xfinity race, like even at Martinsville, the Xfinity cars lay more rubber than the Cup cars do. I'm not a scientist. I'm a race car driver, so I don't know why, but that's just the way it is. And the rubber definitely changes the complexity of the race and adds something to it. And it's always, kind of shows who the better drivers are that can adapt and make changes on the fly. For some reason the Cup cars just don't lay quite as much rubber, so you're able to run in the same groove more and more. And Bristol, I think tomorrow is going to be a little different. I think we should lay some rubber and it should widen out, but Bristol's been a crazy one every year for the Cup guys, so I think we're going to have a pretty clean one tomorrow. Our fall off today was very flat and there was not much fall off at all, so it's probably not going to be like some of the crazy Bristol races we've had.
Next to Davey.
Davey Siegel with Sirius XM. So I'm intrigued by this mental gymnastics that you've gone through, right? I mean, you're not the first driver that has struggled with confidence earlier in their Cup career, gone back down, won, say that you have confidence. This is not a new thing, but it's new for you. I guess it might be a two-parter, but how did you get to this point? Because it wasn't so long ago that you were kicking everybody's ass in this series. You got a full-time Cup ride for a reason. you still are a very, very hot young prospect, but yet mentally, I take you at your word. I think a lot of people do too. It's clear that you have not been yourself. You've been a little bit down. I mean, how does it get from here to here so quickly?
I mean, I think it's just that abrupt change is what, kind of changes everything. Last year I was on top of the world. I'd show up to the track every week and not even being cocky, but, I planned to win every single week. And, I showed up and I knew I was the guy to beat. And, then 3 months later, you show back up to the track and you've got to accept that you're going to finish 25th. And as a race car driver, a guy who's, I'm very competitive. I might not show it. I'm a bit of a goofball, but at the end of the day, I want to win. I don't come here to struggle. I don't want to go through the struggles. I want to get over the struggles and get better soon and start to figure this stuff out. But at the end of the day, it takes time. I'm racing against guys who have 20 years of experience on me and, 5 years in the next gen car. And it's just not as easy as people think it is. And that certainly didn't catch me by surprise. I knew it was going to be difficult, but still, showing up to the track every week and struggling and just, it's not fun. And I've had to get used to that and try to make the most of it and try and learn from it and grow and, try to make my weekends as good as possible.
Go all the way to your left here to Zach.
Zach Sterniolo, NASCAR.com. Connor, when you have a night like this then and you're able to race head-to-head with Kyle Larson and beat him at a track where he's dominated, and he dominated this race a year ago, how does that swing things back the other way and helping remind you of what you're capable of?
Yeah, I mean, granted, I won the race, but I wasn't the dominant car all day long. I have to give credit to Kyle where it's due. He was the best car all day long, and I think he is every single time he comes down and races this series. But, to come down and still even fend him off on that last restart and be able to hang tough against, one of the best in our industry it feels good. And I watch him pass me a lot on Sundays when he's coming to lap me, and and then it's cool to be able to race against him and actually go door to door with him for position, when I come down and race the O'Reilly Series. So hopefully we can get things turned around on Sundays and I can start to get better and start having better runs. But it's always still good to come down and kind of remind myself that, I did win a lot of races last year and I can still do it.
Noah Lewis, TSJ Sports. Connor, can you just give us a glimpse at what it's like to work with a guy like Rodney, a veteran crew chief, and then also knowing kind of the journey he's been on in the last year or so? You're the guy that got him back to victory lane. So just kind of give us a glimpse at that and then how special that moment is.
Yeah, man, it feels good. It's been a while since Rodney's been in victory lane, and I know how bad he wants it, right? A lot of teams in the Cup Series wrote him off and, said that he didn't work as hard anymore. He didn't want it as bad anymore. He's at the back end of his career. He just wants to, find a way to get a couple more jobs for a few more years. And, I got to work with him firsthand this year. And I've gotten the opportunity to see how hard he works, how smart he is, and how much he loves the sport. And it's been really, really cool to see that firsthand. And I'm really glad to be the one to get him his first win here with JRM.
Trent with front stretch. Brent Cruz on pit road said after the race that he would rather lose to anybody but you, and talked about your friendship and stuff. Just I know you're also friends with Jesse Love. Just talk about the friendships in the garage that you have, but you're also being competitive on the track like that, battling each other hard.
Yeah, I've always been one to be open about friendships, and I feel like on our traveling circus that all of us are on, it's very tough to go 38 weekends without having friends to hang out with and talk to. And I feel like I'd be lonely if I didn't have those guys in my corner. So although we race each other really hard on the racetrack and, it's not all friendship, we have some run-ins and there's things that go wrong, but at the end of the day, we support each other through everything, and I consider Jesse and Brent my brothers. So, it's cool to see the success that both of them are having. I'm sure I'll see both of them in Sundays here shortly, and it'll be cool to be able to race all those guys, up in the Cup Series one day, and chase our dreams together.
We're gonna go back to your left to Zach.
I'm curious on Sundays. obviously the struggles have been what they've been, right? But Trackhouse as a whole is searching for speed, is what Ross Chastain has been saying as well. I know Shane has good results early to kind of mask a little bit of that, but does that give you any solace that it's not just you who's maybe lagging behind?
Yes and no, right? You know, as a team, we're definitely not where we want to be. We're not winning races. We're not, you know, contending for the top 5. You know, we definitely have work to do, no doubt. But still, as I look at it, you know, I always see my teammates in front of me. And for me, that tells me I have more potential. I have more work to do, and I can do better as a driver. So, you know, it doesn't matter how fast your car is. You still got to drive it to the limit and make the most of it. And I don't quite feel like I've done that. So, you know, although the team has to, you know, we've got to get better as a group, I still think, you know, a lot of that's me as well.
Any additional questions for Connor? Well, Connor,
Thanks, guys.
congratulations for the
Good night.
win, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow.